me off from a good love. She told me that those days were gone.
Hey viewers, thank you for joining our live chat today with Mr. Still Your Girl himself, Trey Songz.
Hey, baby.
Welcome. Thank you for joining us. My name is Mariel Concepcion, and I'm associate editor for Billboard.com, as well as editor for the newly launched hip-hop and R&B blog, The Juice. I will be taking your questions today sent through Twitter. You can still send those in. I'll be getting them right here. If you send them to Billboard.com using hashtag BBLiveChat.
Shout out to everybody on my Twitter watch. All my angels sitting with Mariel Concepcion.
Josefina. Just giving you a little background on Trey Songz. He broke into the scene in 2005 with his debut album, I Gotta Make It. He followed up with Trey Day, which spawned your first #1 hit single, Can't Help But Wait. Last year, he released Ready, which gave him his most mainstream and chart success with tracks like Invented Sex and Say Ah and LOL Smiley Face and a slew of others. Now, you released your 4th studio album, Passion, Pain, and Pleasure.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's doing wonderful on the charts. I think it entered at #2 on the 200 and #1 on the R&B and hip-hop albums chart.
Yes.
So tell me, what was the process like putting this album together and how it differs or compares to Ready?
Well, it actually was a process different from the others, being that I had to do it so fast. You know, it was actually almost a year to date. Ready came out August 31st last year, and this album came out September 14th this year. And I actually recorded the first half of it right before the Jay-Z tour. I went out with Jay-Z from February to March. And the first week and a half, we did half of the album. And during the week of the BET Awards, I did the other half, you know, because I was on tour and I was doing a lot of things in between. And it was like the busiest time of my life, which it still is. And you know what I feel is different basically from the album is it's although it was less time to create it, it was the most organic album. It's not really a thought process around how do I make a record to get on the radio? How do I make a record to get my substantial place in this game? How do I make sure that I'm here to stay? You know, and that was a lot of thought process going into Ready with the 2 albums prior to that not being, getting the notoriety that I would have loved them to as a new artist.
Right. But with Passion, Pain, and Pleasure, I think a lot of the fans are under the impression that it's a little less sexified than Ready. We've discussed this before, and I think we've come to the conclusion that in essence it's not. But is it? And what is Passion, Pain, and Pleasure to you?
I feel like this album is more sensual, and it's kind of hard for to escape the sexual kind of aura when you make a song entitled "Invented Sex." I invented sex specifically, So I think it's a little less abrupt and right in your face. But this album, Passion, Pain, and Pleasure, is definitely giving you the emotions that I feel at this point in time in my life. I mentioned it being more organic. I think it's more the music that I want to make, as a new artist and as a rising artist. Before you get to a certain level of success, you have to make a certain kind of music to be accepted before you can really give your all or let your wings open. So with this album, I'm very satisfied with the way it turned out from the beginning to the end. I think each record evokes a different emotion, one of the 3, passion, pain, or pleasure. And it's very much, like I said, giving you what I feel right now at this moment.
Is it insane that like 4 years in, you still consider yourself a new artist?
I mean, I guess.
Do you really feel like you're a new artist?
I mean, I don't feel like I'm new per se, but I'm definitely, 4 years isn't really a long time.
Yeah, I guess so. I've been here 4 years. So I guess not. Let's talk about the singles, because although it's more of a sensual album, you kind of introduced it with Bottoms Up, which is a club track.
Yeah.
More beat and more about just having a good time and getting twisted at the club.
Yeah.
Tell me how this song came together, how Nicki ended up on it, and why it made sense to introduce this album with it.
Well, the thought process first in introducing the album with it is, when first releasing an album, you want attention, you want audience. You want the most audience, and that record is obviously the most the record the record that has probably the most potential to cross over and to go and maintain that type of audience.
Mm-hmm.
So the thought process behind that was grab people's attention and to differentiate between the records that I still playing from my last album, Infinite Sex, Neighbors Know My Name, very relevant on radio even still today, and to cut between that, I wanted to come with a record that was urgent, and this where Nicki comes in, who more urgent than Nicki Minaj right now, who's very crazy on the track. She killed it, you know what I mean? And she just gives that sense of energy that takes the record to another level.
I have to tell you, before we launch into the Twitter question answer portion of this interview, your fans are not that excited about you flirting with Nicki Minaj. I'm just gonna put it out there. I mean, I don't know what to tell you guys. And so there are other singles off the album. Is Unusual a single off the album, or is it just
Unusual is actually just playing right now.
Right.
Like people are loving that record, so a lot of radio stations have put it in. Can't Be Friends is actually a second single, of course. And the strategy between that was I just wanted to give the total opposite of what Bottoms Up was, just to show people that the album is not going to be all this bottoms up feel. And Can't Be Friends is basically, one of those records that hits an emotional chord, like Donnell Jones, Where I Want to Be, or Carl Thomas, I Wish, that just hits you in a way where as though you've probably been in that situation, and a lot of people can relate to that.
Yeah, Can't Be Friends is a very heartfelt song, and I'm happy that you compared it to those two particular songs, because those are my two favorite songs from, like, my high school years. But then Unusual, you started off kind of being like, people say all I do is talk about sex.
Yeah.
Tell me why do that?
Because it's just to show people I know.
You're aware.
Yeah, I'm very aware, and I'm going to do it again here. Have it.